Hello and welcome. So today I'm in a place called Łochów, and the reason I'm here, it's to do I wouldn't say research really, because I think I've done as much as I can do. It is more to get some background video on this location. But before I do that, I shall show you where I am. So this is the sort of place. This to me is a fantastic place to work in for a number of reasons. First of all, you can hear how quiet it is. Okay, there are cars in the background, but as long as it stays like this and I'm the only person here, then that is great for actually doing recordings. And so I can actually tape, I don't know if that's the right word, or record some videos tomorrow, things which I've actually written up, and so I could do that. And because it's nice and quiet, also because it's nice and quiet, I can actually concentrate better. So there's my vehicle, and we've also got an outdoor picnic table over there. We've also got I've got a toilet. Not that I don't need it because I use the one I've got in my vehicle. And down here we've got the Liviet River, and that's a river that flows into the Bug, which close to Kamieńczyk. And Kamieńczyk is approximately, if you follow the line of the Bug, so this area here, it's about 65 kilometers northeast of Warsaw now, and Kamieńczyk's about I would say about 30 kilometers from Treblinka to the west. To give an idea. So I was at a place called Jadów, that's J-A-D-O with an accent W, and they had a Scottish Day. They have a Scottish Day on the first Saturday of July. Absolutely incredible, a wonderful event, and I can't recommend it enough. I mean, it was, for such a small town, you've got this big Scottish Day. Now, it's from a historical point of view. In Jadów, this was largely a Jewish shtetl. Maybe not so much in the 20th century, but certainly after the destruction of Wyszków, which is a larger town nearby, and that was destroyed on the 9th or 10th of September 1939. During the September campaign, and that had a Jewish majority, and lots of these people actually came to Jadów. Furthermore, there were people deported from other villages and towns to Jadów, and so it had this very unusual ghetto in Jadów, because it was like square shaped, or rather oblong shaped, and was in two parts with a small road dividing the two. And one part of the ghetto had barbed wire and the other part didn't. Anyway, so here in Łochów, I did a video on a person called Abram Krzepicki, and he escaped from Treblinka, and he came here. He was here in Łochów, and whilst he was here, he passed on the information on what was happening in Treblinka. So much, and the effect of this was that when the Nazis tried to deport the Jewish population of Łochów to Treblinka, there was a revolt of such, or there was a mass breakout or something. Nobody survived, and we don't really know anything else other than that. Now, the population of Jadów was forced to go into the main square. In fact, this main square is today it's got trees and grass on, but before the war we can see in photographs, including photographs done by Wilhelm Hosenfeld. He was the German officer in the film The Pianist, but it's true. But he was the person who helped save Władysław Szpilman, and who was the hero of the film, the main person in the Pianist. So he was the pianist. Anyway, so Hosenfeld was based in Jadów, and he's got photographs. I made photographs when he was there, and you actually see them in this really wonderful museum. Right, so the people in the ghetto were forced to go into the main square, and from there they were marched to here, to Łochów. So it was a distance of approximately 7 kilometers more or less. But en route, they were halted at the village, just under halfway, and there they had to wait because the guards ran out of ammunition. So they kept them there whilst they sent a truck to a place called Tłuszcze and to collect ammunition. And now we don't know how many people were killed, but I've seen, because it's very difficult for people to say how many bodies there were, but maybe the number of 600 has been given. So if that includes the people who were murdered, who didn't present themselves at the roll call in the main square, plus those they killed en route, that could be it. Now there's approximately 2,500 people from Jadów who were deported to Treblinka. So if that is the case, I mean, that is a huge, huge number of people killed en route, even allowing for some exaggeration. The people from Jadów were loaded onto the trains here at Łochów. This was the same week as the people from Łochów had been sent to Treblinka, and they were murdered there, no survivors. Now, one important feature is, as far as Jadów was concerned, certainly as far as Łochów, they knew what was happening because they saw the bodies. Indeed, in the museum in Jadów, there is an account of somebody who, as a child, 13 years old, he remembered seeing the body of a young woman lying on the tracks. She jumped from the train and had been killed, and later he did a photograph of it. Sorry, it was a mocked up photograph as he recalled it. So he got a model to actually do it and lie on the lines, and that can be seen in the museum in Jadów. So these are all things here that I'm putting together from this trip here, and so I'm going to I don't know, tomorrow's a Friday, and the problem with Fridays is if you come to a place like this, which is really nice and quiet now, on a Friday night you get all the young people sort of reveling, so I might clear off tomorrow. But I mean, I got to spend several days here. It is so quiet. Today I was alone, almost alone. There was a couple there, 2 people turned up whom I would suggest, from my experience of life, who were married but not to each other, which was the reason that they met here and came in separate cars at separate times. But anyway, so that's my news, that's what I'm doing, and this is what I really do like to do, to actually get out and to do things like this, and to walk around and see things. In Jadów I had a good wander around where the former ghetto was. 1 or 2 houses there from the ghetto period, as far as I can tell, but not many, as is the case everywhere. I mean, these buildings often were in terrible state. People were very poor even before the war in places like this, and then you've got the period people forced in the ghetto. Well, obviously the houses weren't getting repaired or anything, and by the time they were forced out, there may have been other people occupied the buildings and took them, but that was quite unusual. They might take the possessions of those who were forced who were murdered, but occasionally they took the houses, but only if they were brick built, and less likely if they were wooden built. Anyway, as a general rule, so that's why very few buildings actually survive. Good, so thanks for watching, hope you found it interesting, and A message on the road. Just past my 20th, in fact it was yesterday, 20th anniversary on YouTube. 20 years on YouTube. Okay, all the best. Bye for now.